Good morning again. No, I haven't gone mad, or at least I don't think I have. These are a few pens. Now let me tell you a story. Years ago, when I was a little bit younger than I am now, I was visiting a friend, I can't really remember, that's a long time ago, in the north of London. It was near the Lord's cricket ground, if I can remember, and I came upon a very large junk shop, antique shop, bric-a-brac shop, call it what you like. Lovely shop, had interesting things inside, not too overpriced, in fact they're quite reasonably priced. Anyhow, cut a long story short, I picked up a couple of pens. Let me see, I can probably show you well, let's put it like this. It was probably several you see in this collection was bought at this shop near Lord's cricket ground. I don't even know if the place is still there. I used to visit loads of junk shops because they were such fascinating shops. You never knew what you were going to get. I can remember school days, I always wanted what was called a Parker 51. I'll show an example of Parker 51. There's one there. Parker 51. These were quite thought after. Now there's so many, or there was then so many pens about. There's another Parker there. Anyhow, the reason I put this up, a friend of mine, Andy of Andy's Shed, who does a talk on the GPO type telephones and other telephones, happened to bring in, he'd done a little repair job, I understand, and the owner of the phone that he had repaired, that was one of the GEC wall phones, a Mura phone. That's another story. Anyhow, he was given two pens which he cleaned up and made look nice. One was a Parker and the other was a Conway Stewart. Now he was amazed how much they normally went for in, dare I say, antique shops. Mind you, some of these are antique now. He was quite shocked. He said they're worth even more than old telephones. Well, I can assure you these ones that I've got here weren't that expensive. Let's face it, I was not long in work at the time, and I didn't get loads of money. But over the years, boot sales, junk shops, I picked up several more pens, and nowhere near that kind of money what they are worth now. I couldn't even touch them now. What I will show you is an interesting pen. This probably started me up. I show you there a Parker Vacuumatic. This was my mother's pen, so it's got a lot of sentimental values. This was bought in the 30s as far as I know. Bought over here in England, and the seller showed, I think my father bought it. Anyhow, he showed the pen how strong it was by slinging it on the ground. Mind you, he said, I don't want that one, I want the other one now that you haven't slung on the ground. It was to indicate to them how strong these were. Well, anyhow, this is the Vacuumatic. I can't do the top. It's moments like this you wish you had another pair of hands. There's the typical nib, and these nibs are made of gold. A lot of people thought they were just rolled golds. All right, some of the pens the cheaper models, such as platinum, osmiroid, they did use a gold-plated nib, and all these nibs have an iridium tip. So the part you write with is not the gold, it's the iridium tip, which is a hard metal which stands up to being used to write with. Anyhow, that was the Vacuumatic, which I believe is possibly, I don't know where I can say rare. What is rare? I don't know. I tell you what I haven't got. I haven't got any Mont Blancs. Now they are very expensive, and that particular make you never seem to find in junk shops. So they're sort of equivalent to the Rolex watch. They were worth a bomb. Anyhow, I can talk all the time. Got pens here from various makers. Got the Blackbird there, Blackbird by Swan. There's pens by L.E. Waterman. Waterman was the inventor of the fountain pen, not Parker. It was L.E. Waterman who invented the fountain pen. There were Swans, Conway Stewart's, Osmiroid, Unique, so many names. But one name I do mention was this one here. That's a Schaefer. Now, who remembers the advert on TV of this young lady? She came in with a pair of white silk gloves, wearing silk gloves, and the thing said, who would fill a fountain pen up wearing silk gloves? Well, this was the pen. It's called a Schaefer Snorkel, and if you can see there's a little snorkel tube which comes out and dips into the ink, and you draw it up by the little screw adjustment at the end. And that was the Schaefer Snorkel. Once again, a solid gold nib in 2-colour gold. I think the other is gold, but white gold. That, I think, see, Schaefer 14K, which is 14 carat. How much these are worth now, I dread to think. I was told when I was very young that I was very wasteful with money. I think I'd got a little bit of money come my way. Either someone had passed away or someone, I don't know really. And it's appeared that I blew it. When I say blew it, it wasn't a vast amount of money, probably £100 or something like that, which I obviously spent. And my next door neighbour at the time said, "Oh, you're bloody wasteful, getting rid of that money." Well, since those days, I became not tight, but careful what I bought. And I've always thought, well, do I really need that? Or do I buy it as an investment? Well, these pens, I never dreamt they were an investment. They were just interesting items that I cleaned up and put on display, be it in a little tray or little drawers. There's so many here, I could go through a lot. There's another one here. I think that one's probably Swan with gold bands on it. Yep, they're solid gold. A lot of it was these shops, antique shops or junk shops, didn't know what they had. They didn't know. All right, they might know a piece of furniture. They might know that and how much it's worth. But when it came to certain other items, like old phones at that time, some electrical bits, the odd light bulb which used to turn up, people didn't know what they were worth. Well, since then you've got programs on TV, antique programs on TV, where the general public and dealers are told exactly what these items are worth, and I think that's what it is. So now if you're thinking about starting to collect pens, give it up. You'll be paying a lot of money. I think some kind of examples on pens are probably years ago where you might be talking about a couple of pounds. Now you're probably talking £60. Another Parker 51 there. They also brought another Parker out. This one I think it was. I know the clip's missing. That was a Parker 61. And they were a bit dearer. You got another Parker. That Parker shows the older style of clip. Parker clips are always this arrow. This was the earlier one. The later one that my mother had shows the more up-to-date clip. Anyhow, that's more or less all I've got to say. It's just it just sort of interested the fact that someone brought up about old pens, and yeah, I thought, well, perhaps I'll give my lot an airing. The majority of these are workers, but needless to say, some are perhaps missing a cap or two, because when I saw them for sale, there was normally not just the one. They say, oh well, I'll take them. There might be a bundle of 3 or 4. Some of them were missing bits, but you picked them up. You knew they had gold nibs. Mind you, whether the shops realised they were gold nibs, I don't know. I don't think so. Anyhow, that's all I've got to say. Once again, thanks for putting up with my little talks and things. It has brought back a lot of memories, and yeah, I can well remember a lot of these being advertised on TV. Well, let's face it, I've been about a few years, almost 80, so that gives you an idea. So anyhow, keep watching, keep looking in junk shops, boot sales. You never know. Bargains can still turn up, and they do. Just keep the old eyes trained on what you're looking for, and you will find them. Anyhow, thanks again, and any questions please ask, and I'll try and get back to you. Thanks again. Thank you.